What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of On Another Line Live. Got a few things to talk about this week. We haven't been live in at least 2 weeks. We had the July 4th festivities going on, and I was at Lake Champlain fishing a Toyota Series, the second leg of the Toyota Series. We have ICAST, a lot of stuff coming out from Shimano. We got a lot of stuff to talk about tonight. JR is not going to be with us. He's got his family down at Disney. So with that being said, you got me today. We're going to talk about tournament recap, talk about ICAST, talk about a lot of things that's coming up. And with that being said, right after this short intro, we're going to get into it.
That's a life of a fisherman you wouldn't understand. Something you can't feel on dry land. You gotta get your arms way up in a cage and set the hook on smallmouth bass, and then you'll understand. Gotta get your hands on a Shimano reel and a G-Loom that's trying to bet you like what you feel. Step on the deck, give it the world. Hello, welcome to my world.
And we're live. Welcome back to this episode of On Another Line Live. Appreciate you guys out there in Facebook and YouTube land following along. Again, haven't been live for the last 2 weeks due to the 4th of July holiday. And last week I was in Plattsburgh, New York at the second leg of the Toyota Series Northern Swing. We're going to talk about that in just a second. But I thank you guys for joining. Again, no Jared tonight. He's got his family, and they're having a good time this week down at Disney in Orlando, Florida. So he's spending some time with his family, which is much needed. So we're talking about some things that has happened to me lately. My boat is still down. I'm still waiting on injectors from Injector RX in, where are they at? Texas. They've had my injectors for a solid 2 weeks now, which is never good. But I did email them. They do have my injectors. I am in queue to get them clean. So hopefully I'll get those back this week. Did have a little faux pas with one of my Solix units, which is weird because I haven't been able to use them all summer. But the touch screen stopped working on a Solix 15 Gen 3. And I hate to say this about it, but the Humminbird customer service was very lackluster. I got a $3,800 graph that the touchscreen stopped working on under warranty, and it took them 3 weeks to give me an actual okay to send my product back to get it fixed or get the touchscreen worked on or repaired. So wasn't the greatest experience. Maybe it's just a busy time. I'm not sure, but I had to keep emailing back to kind of like re-up the queue with the person that was dealing with my thing or with my problem. But I did send that back yesterday, so hopefully we'll have that back here in a few days. So hopefully we'll get all the boat back in order and be able to do some fishing here this fall. Right now it is kind of hit and miss with me. Previously, last week I fished again, as you heard me say just a second ago, the second leg of the Toyota Series Northern Division at Lake Champlain in Plattsburgh, New York. To be honest with you, that's the farthest I've ever driven a vehicle in my entire life. I've been in vehicles going to Florida and things like that when I was a kid. I went way out west. I went to California in a car. But as far as me driving a vehicle, that's as far as I've ever driven in one fell swoop. I was about 12 and a half hours after stops and things one way. So it was 25 hours in a vehicle. But the Plattsburgh area, the New York area up around Champlain is an absolute beautiful place. I wish I had more time and my boat to go around and see what was going on up there, because Champlain is a really special place. It fishes way different than you think it would. That was one of the things that we had a hard time with between Kyle and I trying to find fish during those 5 or 6 days that we had before the tournament. It turned out that the smallmouth and largemouth were very, very shallow this time of year, which is unheard of. And I ended up doing all right. I think that I finished 31st, but I was 5 ounces out of the day 3 cut. So this cell phone weighs more than that. So it was kind of it was a heartbreaking moment for me, because went into day 1 not knowing anything about it. I'd found a bite on a spy bait. I was throwing a 90 series Duo Realis 90 series in Prism Gill. And as luck would have it, it was the only one that I had. It was the only 90 series I had to try to find something locally in my area. Nobody carries them here because we don't throw spot beats in this area normally. And there was no tackle shops up there that I could find that carried them either. So I had one. Long story short, the very first day I go out with a fellow and we have a great time. He's fishing shallow. I lost a 4+ at the boat on a wacky rig. I'm not saying it was my fault. I thought I'd done everything that I could to get the fish in a boat. Just spit it. It just came out of his mouth. You know, you're talking about a wacky rig. I use a Jackal weighted wacky rig hook. I've showed you guys several times on the show, but it's only got like a 1/0 or a #1 hook in it, so it's not giant anyway. And you put I run that through a Cinco, takes up a lot of the hook. Long story short, I lost that 4-pounder, but I ended up catching 17.5 pounds on day one, which was good enough to get me top 10. I was sitting in 10th place, only 2 pounds behind the leader. So I felt like I was going to have a really good day and going to be able to go out the next day and catch them. And that did happen, and it didn't happen. It happened because I went out in the very first spot. The boater and I was with the second day, because you switch boaters every other day or every day in the Toyota series. So I drew a boater. We go out to this flat that he has found, and I ended up catching 2.5 pound smallmouth within the first 10 minutes. And then we spent most of the day live scoping after that. Now, you guys may have seen my social media post about that before. It was very lackluster in my opinion. I don't know. I'm not saying the boater was in the wrong. I'm not saying that at all. I think that they pay a lot of entry fees. Their entry fees is $1,750 compared to my $550. They should have the ability to do what they want, but it's very frustrating being in 10th spot, knowing that I probably don't have a chance to catch fish in the area that we're at. He was live scoping in 35 to 40 foot of water. So the only thing that I had tied on in the boat at that point was a drop shot that could get me down that far that quick. And it just didn't happen. I didn't find any more, but I didn't find any that way. We ended up going shallow the last 2 hours of the tournament, finished up my limit, had a very small limit of about 13 pounds, and I missed the cut by 5 ounces. So it was very, very frustrating. But I will agree, Lightning, New York State, upstate is awesome. I enjoyed it up there. The weather was great, like 85 degrees. And right here in Ohio, it is absolutely blistering hot. It's like 95 degrees every day. Humidity's like 90%. Just, you can't hardly breathe outside. It's so hot. And then, you go up there and it was really nice. It was a great place. I'll enjoy, I definitely will go back eventually. So what does that mean right now? So anyway, the second day I ended up catching a 13-pound limit. And I'm in, it takes me to 11th place when I first weigh in. And then I drop all the way back down to 31st spot again, 5 ounces out of the cut for day 3. Very heartbreaking, but live and learn is what it is. If I would have not lost that 4-pound fish the day before, I would have made the cut. Everything was good. One of the things that, that I have a pretty big decision to make here in the next few weeks. The third leg of the Northern Series for the Toyota Series is at the St. Lawrence River, which is obviously was #1 this year from Bassmaster as far as best places to bass fish, with good reason. The place is just amazing. You can catch 6+ pound smallmouth there. So right now I'm sitting 17th place in the region in the Northern Series or the Northern swing there. 17th out of 200 plus. Top 25 make the championship. So it's kind of a no-brainer to fish that third tournament. Problem is with that is that it is the very first full week of school that we start back. Those of you guys know that I'm a high school teacher, or maybe you don't. I'm a high school teacher here in Ohio. We go back to school like August 15th, and then the next week, August 20th or something, is when that tournament is up in upstate New York again. So we're talking 13+ hour drive there, or at least a 12-hour drive there and 12-hour drive back. I'll have to work a couple of those days. Won't have the time to pre-fish. So I'm having a hard time deciding whether I want to go or not. I want to go. It's a long ways, and I'll be taking off work. And it's not that it bothers me to take off work, is the fact that being a high school teacher, they kind of frown upon it if you want to take time off during the school year because they give me June, July, and half of August off already. So, with that being said, I'm going to show you guys a couple clips here really quick of some things that happened at Champlain that are kind of noteworthy. So let's take a look at the first off. This is a clip that Kyle and I were running back to the Plattsburgh Marina in the evening to go back to eat and home, and he turned into this cove, and there was an absolute monstrosity amount of birds in there, and one just about takes my head off. There's one bird there that that guy right there is pretty close. It's like be a good Phoenix commercial, but that was pretty crazy. And then I'd never caught a smallmouth really under a dock before in my life. Maybe some small ones here on the Ohio River, but I caught a pretty good sized smallmouth under a dock in a marina. I'm fishing a 4-inch jackal chump crawl, which, boo, they're not made anymore. But this is one of the first times I threw one of the big 4-inch versions. I'm usually throwing a 3.5-inch version. Obviously, pitched this thing up there underneath that dock or on the end of it, and this smallmouth absolutely chewed it. But I've never seen. I mean, it's a 4+ pound smallmouth underneath the dock in a marina, and that was what was so weird as far as us finding different. You know, we're thinking smallmouth are going to be way out deep, and that was the case for some, but it wasn't really the case. It was definitely something that LiveScope would have helped out definitely, and that's why I don't fault the guy that I drew the second day from doing that. But it was a really great experience. Again, set in 17th, so I feel like that I'm obligated. I've already this far in the hole and this far, into the realm of things to not fish it. So stay tuned on that. Now, with that being said, we are in ICAST week. And ICAST, if you don't know, is the big convention where all new fishing products are released usually during this week. I normally go down to ICAST at least a day or two to check out some of the new products from like Shimano and G Loomis and all that stuff. With this being said, as far as me fishing a tournament last week, I couldn't just travel there and then travel all the way to Orlando, Florida, where it's at. Now, the thing about that is that social media is really good anymore because you can see the new products before you can get your hands on them, which is a really cool deal. And I know some of you guys may not be interested in it, but Shimano has some new products out that I'm definitely going to be checking out. And one of those is the new Vanford A, which is a new redesigned Vanford, which is one of their spinning reels. And I'll pull it up here so you guys can see it. So this is the Shimano Vanford, which there was a Vanford already, obviously, but they have redesigned this thing to add a few new things. First off, they have Duracross in it now, which is normally in all fishing reels and all brands, you have a couple of different, I guess you'd call it materials for drag washers. Well, higher end stuff normally has higher end stuff normally has carbon fiber washers in it, and lower end stuff normally has felt washers. Well, felt is really smooth, really good for small fish, but when you get into bigger fish, felt washers suck. And on the opposite side of things, carbon is amazing for big fish and really fast running fish, but it's not the greatest for startup on drag. And they have kind of brought that into fruition now to have a material called Duracross, which is a weaved carbon fiber material that will allow for both of that. Smooth coming off of the drag right at the startup of the drag, and really good for fast, hard running fish, especially inshore stuff like redfish, things like that. You're not going to burn the gears out of it too much around, doing what I'm doing with smallmouth and largemouth and things, but there is an opportunity that does give you a little bit better feel. Hagane body, Hagane gear. So guys, if you guys are not familiar with that, that is a cold stamped forging process that allows them to stamp one gear basically at the, they just smash these things together and it smashes, or it creates this Hagane gear, which is it's going to be like the old brass gears that used to like in the old green Corrados, but those are all aluminum. These are going to be cold forged or cold pressed. Micro Module 2, obviously that's dropping down from the Stella X-Ship technology, which is going to be, in this case, is where the shaft goes through. Actually, I'm lying to you. X-Ship is where the spindle gear that runs through the handle is supported by bearings on both sides of the reel, so it allows for less torque of the reel, more smooth reel action. Now, when you get into like the MGL rotor, that's a Magnum Light rotor, allows for, this is already, that's stuff that was already there. Silent drive right here is something that's kind of new that they did put in there, which, see if I can find. So of course you got X-Ship spinning, which is the micro module gearing. This Infinity Cross right here is something new from Shimano for this year, which is a new grinding pattern on the gears, so it allows more contact with each gear on the pinion. That will allow it to be smoother feeling, less jerky on the reel. This is something new that just came out. Infinity drive here, this is where the shaft of the reel is supported with inside. It actually runs directly through the pinion gear of the reel, which is actually pretty cool stuff. They have an SLX XTA that's going to be new. This is going to allow for the use of silent tune, which is going to be, if I can find it here, of course, Hagane body, but silent tune allows you to have basically bearing supported both sides of the spool, which allows for less wobble of the spool on casting. Allows you to cast a lot better, a lot smoother. I was hoping to see a new reel in the higher end world of Shimano past the SLX. Seems like they just keep throwing money and money and money at the SLX, maybe because there's a higher price point there. I don't know. But they have had like 3 brand new SLXs over the last 3 years, which is crazy. They should, there needs to be some upgrades on other reels, but for some reason they're spending a lot of money on the SLX XT this year. Now, a couple of things I'm really excited about, and I wish I could show you guys more about this, but there is a new Poison Adrena coming out, which is a Poison Adrena B. Looks similar as far as the reel seat and the nut here that secures the reel to the reel seat. Looks very similar to the Shimano Poison Ultima, which, as you guys know, is the $800 rod that just came out this past year. Well, the Poison Adrena is not a cheap rod. You're looking at $425 for these things. I'm hoping they keep the price point at the same place. You can't see any price point stuff here. But they did come up with a new spinning and so you can see right here, this is showing a little bit more of it. This actually has like a ferruled end on it instead of a solid core, which I think is going to be lighter. Somebody messaged me on Facebook the other day, and they have one of these Poison Adrenas that they bought from JDM, the Japanese domestic market, and they actually said that this rod is lighter than the Poison Ultima they own, which is crazy. So I'm hoping the price point doesn't go super high on this. But one thing that I did see here, not these movies here, I tried to watch them today, and Shimano still doesn't have them released on YouTube yet. But there's not a ton of spinning rods available. 610 medium. So this is I guess it's a medium plus, probably medium light So 7 foot light, 7 foot medium, 7.2 medium light. So there's not a ton of those, which kind of stinks. That's kind of the way that Shimano has done the Poison Adrena in the past, which I'm not a huge fan of. If we go back and look at the casting models, I don't imagine there's a pile of them either. 610, so this is 610 light, 610 medium, 610 medium glass, 610 medium heavy, or that's a 7 foot medium glass, sorry. 7 foot medium heavy, 7.2 medium, 7.2 medium heavy glass, 7.2 heavy, 7.3 medium heavy. So unless they, oh, there's some more down there, just a little bit more. 174 heavy, 176 heavy. So not a ton of stuff there to what comes up after it. Man, wow, I didn't know that. That's awesome. I'll have to take a look at that. Is it the active target 2 or just random active target? Joe, I cannot speak for Daiwa stuff. I think that they really, they make some good stuff. I just don't know anything about them. I did see that Daiwa's coming out with a new travel rod that I thought was really pretty cool because it's like it like telescopes. Yeah, Jim, you're right, man. That and a sonar minimum. Go out there and catch them. There you go, Joe. Lightning says surf dates are solid. Yeah, so I'm excited over the next month or two to hopefully get my boat back and running. I'm gonna run it all fall, and then it's going to be up for sale. And I'm going to offer it up for sale 2 ways. One of them is going to be a budget-friendly option. It's going to be, it's a 2006. Let's see. It is a Stratus 201 Pro XL, dual axle trailer, dual disc brakes on the trailer, 2006 Evinrude E-Tech 250 with 4 brand new injectors on it. Has a 3-year-old ECM in it, and will be running in tip-top shape when I sell it. And at the budget-friendly option, it will come with 2 6-inch Humminbird. Just they're color screens, but they're not the greatest. They're down scan, side scan, down scan, no side scan. And it will come with a standard trolling motor that was on it previously, which is a Minn Kota Fortrex 80-pound, 24-volt. Now that's going to be, I'm looking at anywhere between 15 to 17.5 probably for the boat that way. If you want to buy the boat the way it's rigged right now, it has a brand new Minn Kota Ultrex Quest on it, which was $4,000. It has a 12-inch Garmin LSV 34 system in it, which was about $1,800 there, $1,300. Let's see, I think I paid $1,600 for that. I have 2 Solix 15s, which are about $3,800 a piece. And I just put new wiring in the boat, which will come with it no matter what. It has 0 gauge wire to the front of it with a distribution panel. And if you buy it in the budget-friendly realm, you're going to be getting 2 batteries, and 3 batteries, 2 trolling motor, 1 starting battery. And if you buy it the way it sits right now, you're going to get 4 batteries, 3 for the trolling motor, 1 for the electronics. And they are 3 of them are Odysseys, and 1 of them is a cheap battery. So they're about $1,200 a piece at that point. Again, somewhere between 15 to 18. The budget-friendly way, if you want to buy it the way it sets, it's going to be closer to $30,000, which don't know that it's worth that, but it might be worth somebody. It's brand new equipment. Literally, I've had all that stuff on there less than this year. So they don't have a ton of hours on any of that stuff. So it's a good buy for somebody if you just want to get a boat that is good to fish, and you'll be good to go. But again, keep in mind to keep an eye out on the Facebook page. I'll be posting that stuff soon. Probably going to be in the fall, sometime around October when it's for sale. My goal is to buy a Phoenix, one of the new 721 ZXLs that are coming out with. I really like the way they're laid out. I'm going to go down to Mullins Marine, probably pull the trigger down there. With that being said, just keep an eye out if you guys are interested in that boat. Definitely would like to see somebody that follows me out there get it. It's been a solid boat for me, and I've worked out a lot of the quirks in it. Obviously, I had some lower unit issues. One of those was not my fault. One of them was, so I can't hold that against it. And the ECM still worked in the old one. It just didn't charge the battery, so that's why I replaced it. I do have the old ECM with it. Rumor is, word on the street is you can get that or kind of you can get it reworked and it would work just fine. I'm not sure. Yeah, you know, Jimmy, it's one of those deals where you gotta like I don't have any kids, not planning on having any kids. I don't make a ton of money. Matter of fact, I'm a high school teacher. All my stuff is public, so you can go out there and look exactly what I make. But the way I look at it is that the way the world is anymore, I guess I kind of want the smile on my face and not the government's when I die. So it's not that I am, richer than 4 foot up a hog's rear end. It's just, I like to fish and I want to fish some bigger tournaments. I just don't want to I hate the fact that I feel like my skills are good enough to fish with anybody. But the boat that I have right now, it's been a great boat. I just don't want to worry about it. I just want to put the boat off the trailer and go fishing. So, what's up, Andrew? Yeah, man, that's the deal. Kind of is what it is. But holler at me, Jimmy, if you want to do some fishing soon. If you ain't got a partner, let me know. I'll definitely like to go cast a minnow or two. But with that being said, guys, we are at that about a half-hour mark. Don't have a ton of time. Don't have a ton of stuff to talk about. JR is down at Orlando, and when I text him here in about 5 minutes, he doesn't know this yet, but when I text him in 5 minutes and tell him he's 5 minutes away from ICAST, he is going to have a fit. Guarantee it. So with that being said, guys, got some new. There it is, right there. Yeah. Or BOAT is bend over and take it. It's usually that way. Like if you want to like know what it's like to own a boat and you've never owned a boat, just get in your shower and turn the water to as cold as you can get in there and just step in there, because that's about what it feels like. It's just like just throwing money out the door or whatever. But it is you can't take it with you. And there is an old fellow once told me he never saw a luggage rack or a hitch for a trailer on a hearse. Jimmy, like the thing about it is, like, man, you can't get away from it. Like, if you want to be competitive, you have to spend the money, and it's became a rich man's game, and I am by far a rich man. So I guess maybe it's a poor man's game, because the only way to become a millionaire fishing is if you start out as a billionaire, and that's a true story. So, guys, if you can't get out there and check out some of the sponsors that help us out here on the show, mainly Mullins Marine and Ironton Border Sporting Goods. Those guys have helped us out more than anything. The River Rat's coming up. I have nothing to do with the River Rat anymore. That is the first full weekend in October, like normal, from the Ohio or Cold Grove Boat Ramp. You need to get a hold of Dan or somebody down there to get your name in the hat if you'd like to fish that. Last year, I'm sure it's the same way. He didn't let anybody register at the dock. You had to be pre-registered the whole 9 yards there. So River Valley Bass Club, get a hold of those guys. They'll be able to hook you up. That's right, Andrew. Your best 2 days of your life when you buy a boat and you sell it. Yeah, man. Like, when you think about it, like, it's crazy. It's stupid how much money there is in fishing. If you look at a pro's boat, like Jacob Wheeler's boat, running an Icon, he's running a $150,000 rig. That's double the amount that I paid for my first house. I'm not going that deep, I promise you. I will not be able to own an Icon unless my YouTube channel just goes like through the roof. And let's face it, I've been doing YouTube for 15 years and it's never went through the roof, so I don't think I have to worry about that. But it is what it is. So we're gonna get out. Oh, which by the way, Lightning, I don't know if you're talking I saw 110s there, what you're talking about, but I'm thinking of the 110 jerk baits, which is probably not what you're talking about, but Shimano does have a new jerk bait coming out that faces nose down, so you can see it on the forward facing more. So, but short episode tonight, guys. Got some new videos coming out on YouTube this week, so if you haven't subscribed, I appreciate it. Hope I can see you guys out on the water here. Yeah, no, I mean, I don't want one. I'm just saying that I could never afford one. Yep, Lightning, that's the deal, man. Those 110s are awesome, though. You can't beat it. It's like a sore, you know what? You can't beat it. That being said, guys, appreciate the support. We'll see you guys next time on Another Line. We'll have JR back with us next week, and we'll be talking fishing and hopefully getting some cooler weather so we can actually get out there and enjoy it. That being said, guys, Casey, my YouTube channel is exactly like this. It's youtube.com/OnAnotherLine. Appreciate some support, man. Guys, if you guys can, get out there and lean on. We'll see you next time on Another Line. See y'all.